Welcome back to this week's episode of On the Level Leadership. I wanted to take a minute to share some thoughts around feeling insecure, having imposter, maybe feeling like a bit of a failure, and sort of some tactical things that you can do to help yourself through this process. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tammy. If you are new here, I am a leadership coach consultant, but really what that means is I help people really dive deep into who they are, how they show up, and how it affects their leadership and their career growth. So this week I want to talk about something a little personal. There was some interaction that I had online with a colleague in the last few days that reminded me of the value of sharing sort of my stories around, imposter syndrome, feeling insecure, feeling like a failure, feeling like things aren't going really smoothly. And it's a bit of a video in support of that individual and a message to them. I was raised in a very toxic environment and was told for many, many years that I was never good enough, that anything I did wasn't good enough. And even though I became successful in spite of that upbringing, I always carried with myself sort of this insecurity around being good enough. And what's happened is that translates into situations when I was leading where there would be very challenging circumstances and I would feel as though like I'm not doing as good a job as somebody else is, or this is a real struggle and I'm sinking, I'm struggling here as a leader and I don't quite know where to go or what to do and how to make this better. And the fact is that sometimes, let's get real. Sometimes shit just hits the fan and it's really hard to lead people through really difficult circumstances. And it's not necessarily a reflection of you as a leader, but I had a hard time with that because I would always internalize the outcomes of the situation with my leadership or lack thereof. So there's a couple things. I work with clients at the executive level who are super performant, super productive individuals who are challenged by imposter. I've had a couple of clients now who this is sort of like their key issue or their rate limiting factor with respect to growth, either personally or professionally, is this notion of not being good enough, of not being worthy enough, of not being valued enough, of not having the right skills, of not being seen as the leader that they really are. And there's a couple of things I want to remind you is, first off, we're not perfect. Human beings are not perfect. You know this. If you're listening to this, you're watching this, you know this. Nobody's perfect. But when you're suffering from this perspective of, all hell is breaking loose, things are really shitty, I can't seem to make things happen, I want you to take a minute to silence your thoughts if you can. Like take a moment, literally go for a walk, get some fresh air, sit on a park bench somewhere. Don't listen to anything in your ears. Just pay attention to the world around you, observe quietly, and just let your inner voice come in. And I want you to focus on facts. What is the facts of the situation, not your hyperbole, not what you're blowing out of proportion, not the ladder of inference that you're jumping up in terms of assumptions. And then once you've considered that, I want you to think about what is my truth in that situation. Recently, as a 50-year-old person, I'm online a lot with social media, YouTube, TikTok, etc. And what I've really recently noticed is that, I am now being attacked because I'm old. I get young males in particular, for some reason, feel the desired need to try to bring me down by calling me old as F, right? I don't really care. I'm a Gen Xer who doesn't give a shit about this stuff. But I can tell you this, that it doesn't matter what age I'm at. When I was younger, I wasn't smart enough because women weren't smart enough. When I was older, I was potential but too aggressive and didn't have enough executive presence. When I'm the age I'm at now I'm old. So it doesn't matter. Whatever age we're at, there's always somebody out there who's judging us as not being good enough or feeling the need to try to peg us down or take us down a notch. So if we could just learn to quiet the mind and shut out the naysayers and shut out the voices we're hearing from outside and learn to listen to our inner sage, the one about the inner self that actually knows your truth and your strengths and your value, then that can be immensely helpful in starting to overcome the feeling of overwhelm and of fear of failure and fear of not being good enough. It doesn't take away the problems. It certainly doesn't manage the situation you're in, but it helps you kind of reframe your thinking about the situation. Part of the hard part for me as well, one of the biggest effing things I had to learn was learning to let go. Let it go, let it go. So sometimes people will attack me and I just have to understand that that's their perception. That's the place they're at. That's their frame of mind. That's their bias. And the reality is that can't affect me. I had to learn, and I'm still learning this, by the way. But I had to learn how to acknowledge, validate it, and then just let it go.
Storm rage on. Cold never bothered me anyway.
So when I feel the feelings of imposter come up, insecurity, fear, what have you, I will stop myself and I will ask myself the question, okay, deep breath in, deep breath out. What part of this is scaring the shit out of me? What part of this is making me feel insecure? What part of this is my inner critic trying to keep me safe from? And then I just listen. And I don't fight. I don't overthink. The first response is usually the right one. I'm afraid to fail. I think people think I'm a loser. I don't think I'm a good leader. How can I be a leadership guru or be in a leadership space if I feel like I'm failing as a leader? That inner feeling is real. But what I'm going to try to ask you to do is validate it and then let it go into the ether, because that's not your truth. Chances are, if you're feeling imposter, it's because you actually give a shit. You actually care about the outcome. You care about what's happening around you. You care about the people in your organization. Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't care. None of this would bother you if you didn't give a rat's ass about what happened around you. So obviously you care. There's a high empathy piece there. There's an EI quotient that's at play. Validate it, let it go. And then ask yourself, reframe your thoughts. Reframing your thoughts means looking at what you're trying to achieve, the objectives you're trying to accomplish, and asking yourself factually, not emotionally, what really needs to be done here? What really needs to happen? Am I trying to do too much? Am I trying to take on too much? You are deserving of whatever role you're in. You're deserving of whatever praise you get. And if you get the opposite, where you're not getting praise, then what I want you to do is reframe, okay, but what about this can I tangibly move forward? And what do I need to let go of? Some things are going to be out of your control. You're not going to be able to change. Feeling imposter about that is not going to help you. So I had to, figure out what's really important. What do I really need to accomplish here? I think I need to do this, but really all I need to do is this. And when I reframed, I thought, okay, that seems more doable to me. That seems more accomplishable. That's not a word, but whatever. The next thing I want you to do is share your feelings. Talk to a colleague, go to a mentor. It might not be your boss. Maybe you're worried your boss will see that you're somehow a failure in leadership. So you don't want to share that information with them. I get that. Find a mentor, someone else you trust, someone else you believe in, someone else you respect that has maybe gone through this crap before. Because I got news for you. If you're a leader in an organization, chances are they have had their moments of imposter as well. So go talk to somebody. Pick their brain. Hey, can I buy you coffee? I just want to know how you would be handling the situation. Share your concerns. Have an honest conversation. They may call you on it. They may say, hey, dude, I think you're blowing this out of proportion. The other piece is reach out to friends, people who you know have gone through this. Maybe people like me who have a coaching background. We don't necessarily want to charge you any money to help you. Maybe it's just a sounding board, someone who you can bounce ideas off of, someone who can challenge your assumptions and your thinking, because maybe you're not thinking clearly. Maybe you're feeling like a failure right now because you're completely blowing something out of proportion. And if you're open to that conversation, you may learn something about yourself in the process. I did this. I talked to fellow peers that were at the same level as me and asked them about how to manage situations in my workplace. I felt safe to do so, though. I didn't feel like I was going to get fired if I did that, right? And then I also had friends on the outside that I would talk to who maybe had gone through some of this in their own way, to try to get sort of a sense from them as to how they would manage the situations. And I often found that I was blowing things out of proportion, or that I was overthinking things, and that I wasn't focused enough. And so that was it was helpful to hear from someone else. But what's also helpful is when you talk to your peers, the people who really know you or who can validate your skill set or your strengths, and they say to you, you're like the most powerful person I know, or you're the strongest person I know, or you're the most empathetic person I know, or you're the most compassionate person I know, or you're the best leader I've ever known. Not about finding people to blow smoke up your ass. It's about finding people who know you enough to challenge your insecurities and your thinking around what's happening in the moment. And quite frankly, the one person in my life has been my husband. My husband's been my biggest cheerleader, my biggest fan. And anytime I feel insecure about something, I usually brainstorm with him. And he's really good at reframing with me and asking me coaching questions. I always tell him he needs to be a coach, and he's not. He's an agile coach, which is a different kind of coaching. But the reality is that he will ask me questions that get me thinking, oh, yeah, maybe I did blow that out of proportion. Oh, maybe I do need to change my perspective on it. Maybe I am successful. I'm just not seeing it because I'm seeing these problems just keep popping up. So focusing on the successes you've had, focusing on your strengths, that's the place to go. And sometimes your peers are really great at being able to point that out for you. And on the note of praising yourself. This is really hard to do when we're down in the dumps and we're feeling really beaten down by the world around us. But I want to ask you to really look at your previous successes and ask yourself two things. One thing that I had to learn to do myself was when I'm feeling like a failure in a situation is, where have I succeeded in this way before? What did I do then that I could apply to this situation? So I was struggling with trying to figure out what I wanted to script this week. And this interaction came up and made me think that, just in support of my colleague, if you watch this, you know who you are, that life sucks sometimes. As leaders, we're trying to do our best. We're trying to move mountains, and it feels like we're just like sinking and not getting anywhere. Just know that you have a community around you. And if you feel like you don't have a community, just reach out. You'll find very quickly that there's people around you. So I'm speaking to everybody here. Look for your peers, look for your allies, look for the people who support you, who know you and know what you bring to the table, so that they can help you brainstorm how to get out of this situation. But I have to say that myself personally, man, I had to learn a long time ago to figure out how to reframe my negative thinking. And I'm still a project in progress. Failure is success in progress. And every single day, one of the hardest effing things I have to do is learn to let go of the negative comments, or learn to let go of the critiques, and to just dial into who I really am and know what I bring to the table, without being a pompous ass. I know that I'm a very powerful coach. I know that I help people change careers, that I help people get promoted. I know that I help people challenge their perceptions and to really reframe their thinking. And I'm seeing it in the clients I'm working with now. That I know. So when I'm having an off day as a coach, and I have off days as coaches where a coaching session doesn't really go where it's supposed to go, or it goes off the rails, or I don't feel like I've provided value, at the end of the day, I'll sit down and say, what is my truth? My truth is that I know I ask powerful questions. I know that my clients are achieving successes. I know that they're making changes, even if they're small, that will eventually at some point in their life have a huge, massive impact. So I'm going to hang on to that on those really shitty days when I feel like crap. And all I want to do is drown myself in a bottle of wine, which I don't do anymore. But to anyone watching out there, remember, imposter syndrome is just a sense of feelings of insecurity, of fear. It's based on all those things. So if you can just to repeat, focus on facts, look at your truth, ask yourself, where have you succeeded before? What part of those successes can you apply to this situation? Talk to your friends, your mentors, your peers, seek counsel, bounce ideas off people, get a coach to help you through this process if you need to, or to help you career shift if this is all too much for you. Do what you need to do, but take care of you. Know that there are plenty of people just like me who are out here in service trying to help you out. And so just reach out if you need to. And for those that are watching this video, if you think any of this would be something you'd want to work with a coach on, I have a link down below. Feel free to book yourself into 30 minutes so we can get to know each other. It's really about assessing for fit and whether it's a good opportunity to work together or not. There's no sales pitch in that 30 minutes. We just talk about who you are, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, and we go from there. I'm just going to encourage you all to just focus on your strengths and know your truth. Thanks again for watching, folks. Until next time, take care.